Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Plenary 2024. Jefferson, I appreciate that. There you go. Yeah, please feel free. You know, if you've lost any of the spirit, you have to do it as well for Sam Ertenberg, who is somewhere. Make a noise, Sam. Where are you? There you are. Thank you. There we go. Sam, we love you and do so well. And for all the years you and Joe have hosted, and there was a switch this year, it was a delight to see you. So thank you for being there. Welcome, everybody, to Academic Plenary 2024. Like you, I have that positive energy because of that upswing that is happening. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We've got some updates to give you, and I want to talk a little bit, extending Dr. A's comments this morning, about some future direction that we will work on in the year upcoming. But to kick us off, he's never missed a year. He's always happy to be here, although this is a very busy time for him. Dr. Avendano has returned from leaving from convocation to come back and say hello to us. So please welcome our college president, Dr. John Avendano. If he doesn't show you, ask him about his socks.
I was fully intending to show them off this morning, and I forgot. And then some people took pictures, apparently, while I was sitting down of my little manta socks. And that's what reminded me that I should have mentioned it before. So that's the kind of spirit that Dr. Ertenberg shares with all of us, right? So I got little manta socks. So anyway, thank you, and welcome once again to Convocation, to the plenary session. It is always an honor to be here for this. I want to welcome you back for the school year. I hope that you had a wonderful break. For those who had the time to take a break, I know a few of you had to work throughout the summer, and thank you for your continued service over the time of the summertime. So what I said this morning was not hyperbole. I am excited for this school year. I'm excited because of, just like I said before, where we're starting and where we're going. We're not in a position where, like, there's a little bit of panic, what are we going to do if this doesn't happen, and so on. We are really in a fantastic position, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the fact that, you've heard me say before, rarely does a day go by that I don't meet somebody who doesn't tell me that they're an FJC, FCCJ, or an FSCJ alum. And truth be told, that still happens even yet after 5 years. Every day, I'm still meeting people new in the community all the time. And it's not just that they tell me that they're an alum of the college, of any of our past names, but the fact that they had an amazing experience at the time. And many of them will tell me they remember many of you, right? The people who they had in a classroom, the people who inspired them, the people who cared for them. And they will say that they wouldn't be where they are today if it wasn't for what the college did in their lives. So again, you should take some great pride in that, because you may not always see that, you may not always feel that or experience it, but know that the impact that you're making in their lives is truly amazing. I shared a little bit yesterday with the brand new full-time faculty as they were coming on board, a little bit about my experience. Again, that's when I was a community college student, and I shared with you in the past, all three of my children are community college students, but the fact that I can still remember I can remember every one of my community college faculty. I hardly can't remember any of I don't know what this says about me, but I can't remember too many of my university faculty, right? So smaller class size, obviously they had a lot to do with it, but I really believe it's because they cared about my success. They cared about who I was as a person. And so that's a little bit of what you're going to see from the FSCJ experience over the course of this year, right? I want to thank you. I can't thank you all enough. We're raising the bar. We're going to continue to do that. We are going to keep marching forward until everyone knows that FSCJ is the best institution in the country. And I look forward to the day that we can stand up here and be able to say that. So know that I'm available for all of you. I'm a resource to all of you as well. We have a lot of exciting things, even behind the scenes, that are happening over the course of this year. in the next year or two. As we lead up to our 60th anniversary, you'll start to hear a little bit more and more. For those things that can be announced, we'll make some of those announcements as well. But know at the business and industry side of the work that we do, we have a lot of friends out there, and they're wanting to show their friendship, if you will, if I can speak kind of in code a little bit here. They want to show their friendship to the college. So that's because they have confidence in what we're able to do. I wish you a great semester. I wish you a fantastic school year. I look forward to seeing you. I'll be out and about on campus as well, all the campuses and centers. I won't be in the Manta costume, I'm sorry, but I will be out and about. So thank you. Thank you, Dr. Wall.
Thank you, Dr. A. And when a man from Chicago tells you we have friends who want to do things for us, but Dr. A is absolutely, in addition to, as things have gotten better here, he's been able to turn some attention out to building those relationships in the community, and it will continue to pay dividends, and I think larger ones in the future. Also, in keeping with tradition, I'm going to ask Dr. John Woodward, your Faculty Senate President, to come on up and greet y'all to kick off the new year. Dr. Woodward, welcome. Hello. What was I going to say? Senators. Let me start with that. I don't know who they are. So Dr. Avendano just said he remembered all of his faculty at community college. I remember all of their faces, but I'm not very good with names. But I do know that Steve Milchanowski is now the vice president. I'm assuming Steve's here somewhere. If he is or isn't, give him a round of applause. And Pam Brada is now the secretary for Senate. Congratulations to Pam. Now, one of the names that I have for the past 10 years, almost, feels like it. It's been 10 years. For the past 10 years, I have mentioned as being part of this cabinet is Cheryl Schmidt. Unfortunately, Cheryl is not. She is on Senate, so you can still feel free to go to her with all of your problems, and she will fix them all, I'm sure. But she is no longer part of the cabinet due to her possible retirement. So we'll see. So that's now what I will do is I'll also send out everyone the list of senators and what campuses they are on once I figure out what those are. And you will have those. You'll be able to go to your senators if you have any issues or questions. I want to say that I'm also going to send out the Senate's AI recommendations. This is a big topic in Senate. How are we managing this? I just want to remind all of us that we are individually responsible for the academic preparation of our students, and we are individually responsible for whether they do that correctly according to our discipline. So we need to remember how responsible we are for all of that as we work our way through this crazy new world of AI. Simple syllabus you're going to hear more about, so I will turn that over to Brandy later. Academic freedom, that's what we do. That's what I'm all about. And it's a little bit more complicated than what you may think. But for the time being, you are all privileged. You are all very, very privileged people, my fellow colleagues, to be granted a lot of leeway for academic freedom. So please feel free to take advantage. If you have any questions about that, let me know. We have an academic freedom statement. I'll also send that out. So if I can, I want to turn to a slightly sad note. Many of you, since we're on South Campus, know that our dear colleague who retired, I think, last year, Ken McCullough, has passed away. And I think all of us were very much affected by Ken. We loved Ken. I only knew him through Senate, really, but also knew him through the plays that he put on with his students and his students who would be in my class. He was an amazing human being. So I've dug around in my poetry. Not my poetry, please. I'm not reading my poetry. I'm reading something from Rainer Maria Rilke from 1905, a German poet. It's called Death Experience. We know nothing of this exit that does not share with us. We have no basis to show admiration and love or hate to death. fantastically misrepresented by tragic lamentation from a mask's mouth. This is still a world of roles we play. So long as we also care whether we are pleasing, death plays, although he pleases not. Thus, as you go, there breaks onto the stage a strip of reality through that opening through which you exit. Green, a real sunshine, a real forest. We keep playing, repeating frightfully and with difficulty our memorized lines and lifting up ephemeral gestures now and then. But your ghostly presence, so far from us, yet abstracted from our play, can sometimes overwhelm us, like the knowledge of that reality sinking down on us, so that we are enraptured for a while, playing life, not thinking of applause. Thank you, and if you'd like to think about Ken for a moment, I'd love that. Have a lovely beginning of your semester. Ciao. John, thank you so much. It's great to have you here and appreciate those words about Ken. Next up, I'm going to ask Dr. Cynthia Robinson to come to the stage. And as she does, we are going to share with you a video that some of you may have seen if you've been dialed into email and things that we have sent out from the college about study abroad. If you haven't seen it, you're in for a little treat. And then we'll turn it over to Dr. Robinson. Thank you.
You only have an average of maybe 30 years of actually waking moments in your life to go out and do something. Why not engage in the opportunity to do something that might change your life and change your life for the better?
Well, we live in a global community. And so experiences for our students and our faculty and our staff, even our community leaders, to have an opportunity to travel abroad, to learn about other people, have experiences, learn that although we are different, we are still the same at our core. It changes who we are and ultimately makes us better humans.
Study abroad program at FSCJ is an incredible opportunity for me as a professor to extend what we're learning in the classroom into the real world.
I think travel and these opportunities for travel are very important because you really don't understand what's out there until you actually go and see it.
A lot of what Professor Cronrath had talked to us about prior in class, it was awesome to see that actually in person and tour like House of Parliament, Westminster Abbey, areas like that, and actually see it. It's very different than just hearing about it and watching a PowerPoint slide about it. So getting to experience that in person was amazing.
I was actually able to visit Parliament and visit the location where they're making these political decisions that are going to be shaping decisions that I make in my career field.
Their faces lit up. The experience really, they came alive. They were filled with energy. They were filled with wonder.
Don't be afraid to go outside your borders. It's really special to have opportunities.
The program itself was extremely affordable. We wanted to come up with a price point supported by the FSCJ Foundation, which was going to make the opportunity available to pretty much any student from any economic circumstance. There was even scholarship money available.
It completely changed my view on things, and it completely opened, my eyes and made me more aware of who I am and who I like to be around and what I like to learn. And that's just so important.
I would say never pass up on an opportunity like that because it may only present itself to you once in a lifetime.
Study abroad at FSCJ takes what you've learned in the classroom, makes it a lived experience. And through study abroad, we can help you see the world, serve the world, and expand your world.
Good afternoon. So I am excited to launch Study Abroad at FSCJ. So my first experience abroad was in Yemen in 2009 as a conference speaker. My Jacksonville self went all the way there. That was an exciting first experience. But it totally changed the trajectory of my life, of my career. And I want to bring that vision and that opportunity to our students. And with the support of the college and our community, we're doing that. So Open Doors says that less than 2% of community college students actually study abroad. And so we're going to do our part to make that a higher percentage, right? So we know that study abroad impacts all facets of our strategic plan, from belongingness to engagement to opportunity, excellence, and experiential learning. And here at FSCJ, we're launching 2 types of study abroad programs: service-based and faculty-led. So in the spring, we had Puerto Rico, which was a service-based project, and we went to London and Wales, as you saw in the video, for a political science faculty-led program. In the upcoming school year, we're going to have culinary going to Italy, interior design going to France. We're doing a general program to South Africa, which I'm super excited about. We're going to do Zimbabwe and Cape Town and all kinds of places. I'm excited. And we'll be back in Puerto Rico for service, and also Guatemala, and that's going to be in the coffee fields. So I'm really excited about that. But the whole point of our study abroad is to combine culture, education, and experience, because we know these things change the lives of our students, because we do live in a global community. These programs are student-focused, but they are open to faculty, staff, alumni, and community leaders. So we want to make sure that we're opening this up to our whole college community. The Center for International Education gets to serve as the funnel for these programs to help these programs exist with excellence and function well, so that we can continue to grow these programs. So if you're interested, you want to learn more, we have study abroad at fscj.edu, and you can reach out. And I hope that everyone received one of these wonderful little flyers today about our upcoming International Education Conference. And our focus this year is study abroad at FSCJ. So that's just another place that you can go and learn more about what's coming and what we're doing to bring this to our college. Thank you.
Along the same vein, earlier today, you heard Dr. A mention our work with Diplomacy Lab, and he gave a shout out to Dr. Lourdes Norman McKay, who has really been such a great lead for so many dimensions, along so many dimensions at this college. Certainly one of the highlights was her securing a Jefferson Fellowship, and then from that experience, extending a connection that has brought Diplomacy Lab to FSCJ. So I'm so excited she's going to be able to talk to you about that. Please welcome Dr. Lourdes Norman McKay.
Thank you. So excited to be able to share this program with you all. And thank you, Dr. Robinson, for the nice lead-in to the Diplomacy Lab information. I think we might be a little bit out of order. Is there anyone with superpowers in the back who can get to Diplomacy Lab? There we go. I did that by myself, by the way, I think. Anyway, the Department of State launched this program in 2013, and it's a public-private partnership between the department and more than 60 U.S. colleges and universities. And the idea is to conduct research around various department-identified topics and priority policy areas. And so look at us. You probably recognize some other names on that list. We are in very nice company here, I feel. And we are the first and so far only open access college with a key focus on workforce development to be a part of the State Department's Diplomacy Lab program. When I pitched this, I said, we're not a university, we're a community college mainly, and I think we qualify, and here's why. And they said, we'd never even thought about that. Please apply. So we've got a number of projects have been sourced to our faculty starting this fall. Dr. Deborah Brabham in nursing will be addressing how IT can help improve health outcomes in HIV/AIDS care. And that is through collaboration with the Bureau of Global Health Security and Diplomacy. Dr. Daniel Cronrath, he will be doing Vias for Voting, and he's doing this in collaboration with the Foreign Service Institute, Office of Area Studies. Dr. Julia Deriba Montgomery, Arts and Design, she will be glowing up the American spaces and making the network shine. And this is with the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. And I think it's super exciting because actually we now have a go to have her students' work that they're going to be producing in place in South Africa, in Cape Town and in Pretoria, which is where we have our embassy, our mission in South Africa. And we are aiming, as a part of the study abroad, to have some of her students hopefully go there, see their work in place, and document that, and have some collaborations with other students in our sister school there in South Africa at Port Elizabeth. Very much thanks to the work of Dr. Cindy Robinson, so thank you for that. And we are also hoping that, well, I'll wait till I get to that, but Dr. Mahapatra, he is going to be doing Exploring Afghan Special Immigrant Visa Resettlement, and he's going to be taking students to actually speak to people who have come to the United States from Afghanistan and build that first-person story into their work. So I think that's going to be quite transformative and beautiful. Dr. Jason Walker, he is working with the Bureau of Oceans and Environmental and Scientific Affairs, and his students are going to be looking at the impact of agricultural practices on biodiversity. And they are also doing a focus on South Africa, so I'm hoping that his students will have an opportunity to go and see that in place and have that on-the-ground experience with the work they're doing. And another great thing about this program is that in April, there is a Diplomacy Lab Fair that is hosted in Washington, D.C., and a few of us, faculty and administrators, also came, and we were able to go up to Washington back in April to see how this works so that we will be in a good position to have our students attend, participate, and engage. And I think it was really transformative. I think it was so energizing and powerful, and we want to take students to this in April, and we are going to be eligible to do so. We have a little bit of support, but we need more. And so some of the things that we're going to be trying to do is build capacity for these kinds of things to give our students this sort of exposure. But can you imagine how transformative this would be for one of our students to speak at the Harry S. Truman Building at the U.S. State Department about the work that they got to do in our classrooms? I think it's amazing. And my goal is this time next year, I'm going to have a video for you of whoever is Secretary of State introducing Florida State College Jacksonville as a participant in this and highlighting some of our students' work. So that's what we're going to do. So this time next year, get ready for that. I'm really going to push hard for it. But anyway, there are lots of ways that you can explore Diplomacy Lab and study abroad at the International Education Conference, which Dr. Robinson already introduced. RSVP for the event, participate, join us, come to the awesome opening reception. It's going to be catered. There's going to be friends there. We're going to have a great invited speaker, Thomas DeBoss, who is the Managing Director of the Office of Global Partnerships at State. They run Diplomacy Lab and many other global partnership programs. He's going to be here to speak at this event. He's coming to the reception. He's coming to the conference. And he is super excited to come to the first and so far only open access institution who is a part of Diplomacy Lab. So I think it's super exciting. I hope you will come, take advantage of this opportunity, bring your students to this, and give them that lens on what the world can offer them and what they can offer the world too, okay? And then get involved. We've got project lists are gonna come out for the next round to implement in the spring. Bids will be due later in October. I will help you go through the bid process. I know it sounds scary. It's not. It's 200 words. It's like a tweet, okay? And I'm going to tell you this too, every single project that we bid on, we got, okay? Right? So we know how to do this. We know how to do this. And There are some online professional development courses. Thank you to Mark and Audrey for getting that online for us. We did these last spring. We're going to do them again. There are the dates. Please be present, and I will show you how you can get engaged, and this is so exciting, and I want to support you. Contact me. That's my contact information, and we have a Diplomacy Lab website. Please go ahead and bookmark that, and stay tuned, and get ready for that interesting and exciting experience of really seeing the intersection of theory and practice. Thanks.
For our faculty, in addition to the work that she's doing that you just heard about, Dr. Norma McKay is also your new union leader because she was looking for more to do. So thank you for that. You just heard about Diplomacy Lab, Study Abroad. When we talk about those two things, how many of you think, yeah, maybe, I might be? So Study Abroad, anybody thinking, yeah, I would like to be involved? Yes, 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 that's so promising, okay. Maybe I want to learn more about Diplomacy Labs? Yes, okay, thank you. Anybody doing the full Cronrath and thinking I want to do both? Do both. All right, and Daniel, thank you for all that you are doing. I did a magic trick just a few minutes ago, and that was, I made the slides appear out of order by calling people up in the wrong order. Oh my goodness. So I would like to invite to the podium, sorry, Brandy, you know, I did it at convocation. I felt like I needed to do it here, give somebody bad information. Dr. Susan Mythen. In addition to leading our Library and Learning Commons, Susan is also serving in the role as interim Associate Provost for Curriculum and Instruction, covering the areas that Dr. Kathleen Seaswolds was before she departed. And I really appreciate the work that you're doing there. So she's going to give us some updates around the LLC and also curriculum and talk to us a little bit about artificial intelligence. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, everybody. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to talk to you about what's happening in curriculum and instruction. I have some updates from, can we go to the next slide? Is this, or am I clicking? Here we go. Okay, so I have some updates from the curriculum services, from the AI Advisory Council, from the Library and Learning Commons, and a little bit more about the Center for International Education. So we will jump right into our curriculum updates. So we just completed our state-directed general education course review. All the gen ed courses were reviewed in detail this year, including the course descriptions, the course outlines, and the learning outcomes. And this was completed with the support and partnership of faculty and our academic deans, and we're so thankful for your collaboration in that project. So we submitted that spreadsheet to the state, had one course come back for revisions, made those revisions again with faculty and dean input, and those have now been accepted. So again, we're so appreciative of the faculty and the academic departments that collaborated with curriculum on that process. So thank you so much. And math pathways. So as of this academic year, we have 3 math pathways for students. They are algebra through calculus, mathematical thinking in context, and statistical reasoning. So information on each of these pathways is available in the catalog. And there's also information about the programs and meta majors that they are recommended for. So more information about that is available in the catalog. And where we are right now is that we have 2 new math courses beginning this fall, MGF 1130, Mathematical Thinking, and MGF 1131, which is Mathematics in Context. And those are taking the place of MGF 1106 and 1107. We do have a pending 2-year teach-out plan for those 2 older courses for those students that have come in under previous academic catalog years. So thank you very much to Dr. Ed Stringer and all of the math faculty who have been a part of that implementation and planning. So thank you all so much. Okay, we have a couple of civic literacy updates. So under the civic literacy requirements, students are required to pass both a course and an assessment. The state has added an additional course this year, course option for students. So that's AMH 2010, the introductory survey to 1877, and an additional assessment option as well, and that's the CLEP History of the United States 1. Now, just a reminder too that the civic literacy requirement, it now applies to all AA, AS, and bachelor students. And since we have so many students impacted by the civic literacy competency requirement, we wanted to remind everyone that we do have a LibGuide. And that covers like information about the exam, about the courses, and the guide also has links to library materials and external websites that students might find useful in preparing for the exam. We also have a brand new resource that was created by our adjunct librarian, Lisa Taylor, and our academic tutor, Carson Welch, at the Deerwood campus. This civic literacy exam study guide is so well designed, and it really walks students through the process from start to finish. So Lisa and Carson have been giving face-to-face workshops at Deerwood for students that are getting ready to take the exam, and they've been so successful that we wanted to replicate that. But what they did was they sort of put everything into this online format so that it would be available to all students. So please take a look at this excellent resource and share it with your students. Okay, and switching over to artificial intelligence. So the AI Advisory Council will pick up again this fall. They have done the important foundational work of crafting a draft institutional integrity statement that we hope will be presented to the employee governance groups this fall. We'll also be exploring how to best represent and incorporate the college's AI initiatives into the Visionary Impact Plan 3.0 that we heard about this morning. And most exciting of all, the AI Goes to College podcast, created and hosted by our very own Professor Sarah Stewart, has launched its first 2 episodes. And we are so excited to have the podcast continue this fall with upcoming episodes on academic integrity and customized learning. So please check that out if you haven't already. I'm very excited to share this brand new resource that was published by the American Association of Colleges and Universities in partnership with Elon University. This student guide to AI is a fantastic document. I know many of us have been trying to cobble together information that can help students navigate what to do about and with AI. And this guide takes a very measured and balanced approach in a format that I think students will find approachable and informative. So I invite you to review it and share it with your students, and perhaps even if you have adjuncts in your department that couldn't be here today, I think this is a really wonderful resource that will help a lot of students and faculty. All right, and a little more on the Center for International Education. So Dr. Robinson shared all of the wonderful updates on study abroad, but we wanted to also show some other ways that faculty members could get involved with the Center for International Ed. So if this is an area of interest for you, we invite you to globalize one or more of your courses or conduct a virtual exchange. We also are looking for another faculty coordinator to join our amazing Professor Loosefont. So if you're interested in that, please let Cindy know. Any of the information that you might need, resources that you might need in order to globalize your course or be a part of a virtual exchange, Dr. Robinson can provide to you. So please reach out to her if this is something that you're interested in and you think your students would benefit from. And one last update from the library. It is election season, and in the spirit of civil discourse, appreciative inquiry, and open dialogue, all essential to our vibrant academic community, we wanted to remind you that the whole Manta Ray community has access to the premium level of Ground News. So Ground News provides access to lateral reading on all of the current topics in the news, and it ensures that we understand who's covering the stories, where they originate, and what blind spots we may have in our own news consumption. So you can follow that QR code or go to ground.news, and instead of subscribing, you're going to click login, and then there's an option to log in with your institution, and you'll just use your FSCJ credentials, and you'll have access to all those premium features. So we have a few more LLC updates. I'm going to toss it over to Dr. Yolanda Henry to talk about that. So thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues. I'd like to begin by just acknowledging the management team in our Library and Learning Commons department. Without these phenomenal people, we would not be as successful as we are in working with our students. Our managers provide oversight for our facilities and supervise both our library and tutoring staff in our facilities, and they are your first point of contact if you need assistance with either library or tutoring services. And so I'm not sure if they're all here, but if they are, if they wave at us. And we have Julie Miller, who's at our Cecil Center, Peggy Patrick at the Deerwood Center, Nick Bodner for Downtown Campus, Phil Arroyo at Kent Campus, and Charlotte Pittman will be joining us on Monday at the Nassau Center. That will be her first day of work. And we have Anthony Yertzel at North Campus, and until we fill the vacancy at South. If you need assistance specifically with local things at South, you can contact me. And I would be remiss if I did not take a moment to try to advertise our tutoring services that are a part of our Library and Learning Commons. We continue to offer students options of either participating in campus-based or online tutoring. We're offering tutoring on all of our campus locations, but the subject area coverage really is tied to typical curricular offerings at those sites. And students may access campus-based tutoring either by appointment or walk-in, and we're managing appointment bookings as well as availability searches through the My Grad Plan platform. And we continue to use BrainFuse as our online tutoring provider. And when students are in BrainFuse, they do have the option to work with FSCJ's tutors or with BrainFuse's professional tutors. And there are access points for the BrainFuse portal inside My FSCJ as well as in Canvas. And I also just wanted to solicit your help in covering some gaps that we have in our tutoring services. We currently have 2 part-time career positions in mathematics that are vacant. So if you know folks who would like to become a part of the FSCJ community and they're skilled in math, we would encourage them to take a look at those postings on the HR website. And we also would like to be able to supplement the great work that's being done by our career tutors by hiring some additional peer tutors at some of our locations. And so some of those subject areas where we're looking for help is in accounting, dental, French, math, Spanish, and writing. And I did try to indicate the campuses where we need that help. And we really do rely upon your professional expertise. And so as our faculty partners, if you have talented students who have been in your courses who you think could serve well in that capacity, we do ask that you refer them to us. We would really appreciate that. And if you want additional information about tutoring services, I did put the QR code up that would take you directly to the webpage that would give you comprehensive information. And also, I just want to make a plug for the upcoming Fall Data Summit. It's on September 13th. The LLC will be the department of focus. And if you'd like to hear more about tutoring usage data and student feedback and some of the trends that we've seen, we really do encourage you to participate. We'd love to see you there. And lastly, one of the VIP initiatives at FSCJ has focused on creating a support hub for students, and I've had the pleasure of working on that particular initiative. And the support hub is a resource that's really aggregating resources, both academic and non-academic, that students might need to know about in order to successfully navigate their life at FSCJ. And when we built out the support hub, we also went ahead and added in information that would be of value to our faculty and staff as well. And so there are access points for this support hub on the Faculty Center, Student Center, and Employee Self-Service pages in My FSCJ. And this is just a great resource to be able to point people to. So every time I have an opportunity to promote it, I try to take advantage of that. And again, thank you all so much, and we look forward to being able to serve your students this semester.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. Thank you, Dr. Mythen. Appreciate that. As I asked Brandy Bleak to come on up, a couple of people have mentioned issues with artificial intelligence, or the topic of artificial intelligence. And if you are following this, it blows me away, the things that are happening. One of the ones that I work with, you know, it can have a long memory as you're talking to it. And so you query it and it gives you things to think about and all these kinds of things. The other day, I couldn't get the system to work. I typed in my query and it came and it just said the system's unavailable, the system's unavailable. And this is how adaptive it is for higher education. The next day I came in and I opened it up, and in that little dialog box, it had sent me a message and it said, sorry, I was unavailable yesterday. Did I miss anything important? And that's when I knew this stuff is really, really good with the feel for higher ed. So that's where it's evolving. We can't do education anymore without educational technology. And so please, amen to that. So please welcome Brandy Bleak.
Well, I won't be talking about AI. It's too controversial for today for me. But I will be talking about simple syllabus, which is something that I am going to slide right through all of Lourdes' slides one more time. It's all right. There we go. That's me. All right. So about a year ago, we got the green light to review alternatives to our current syllabus solution, which we all love so much. Thank you, Cheryl. But from the start, we knew that whatever tool we chose would have to meet the state requirements, be able to produce policies from FSCJ, as well as listening to what you guys wanted in a new syllabus tool. That's what we tried to listen to closely, meet the needs, but then exceed that. So you asked for something to be a little more intuitive. You asked for it to be flexible while also being able to be locked down as needed. And you wanted a tool that you could share with your students easily, but also share with your supervisors as they needed to. You wanted it to also, of course, integrate in Canvas where you already are, or maybe I wanted that. And then lastly, you wanted to make sure that it didn't time out. So I present simple syllabus. I will say that not only did we meet most of those expectations, but I do believe we exceeded them. So I'm happy to move forward, share a little bit of information today. I'll say that I'm very proud of the instructors that have already got in and created syllabi. We already have over 200 simple syllabus created, published on our college website, or excuse me, on our FSCJ simple syllabus site. But the official transition is not until spring of this term. So we've got some people in there already. We will move everyone else over before the spring. Sorry, my text is little. I can see a few people squinting. I will also share this out afterwards. So come early October, we'll open up the syllabus templates so you can all begin getting in there, creating your own perfect syllabus, then sharing it out with your students as we roll over to the spring term. Now with simple syllabus, you can create your syllabus right there within Canvas. Just move your course syllabus link up into the navigation, and then that will be done by default as we move into the spring term. From there, simply submit your syllabus, then your students will have access, you'll have a link, and your supervisors will be able to easily review as needed. Once it's complete, your students will see your masterpiece. How you complete it is simple. You'll go into the various components that our committee has worked to create, most of which are pre-populated with the information such as dates, important dates, syllabus requirements like the state laws. Everything has to have a course title, the modality, all of that is pre-populated. But there are other components such as a welcome message. So we allow the flexibility for you to go in and add your own text, photos, or even a video to introduce your students to your course. We also added help text to all of the components, so you're never unsure about what's required in that section, or maybe even some sample language so you don't have to recreate the wheel. Again, that pre-populated information in as many areas as possible so that you can focus on what makes your syllabus unique. So that's it. You go in and you put your beautiful content in, you publish your syllabus, and then it's there on the FSCJ public library site. The library showcases all of the published syllabi for your students and your administrators. You can search with filters, you can share with a link, you can embed or even print a PDF if you so desire. So the best part, before I wrap up, I will share the highlight. It is that Simple Syllabus actually might be able to convince you, if you've not yet found the value, that it is worth all of the little bit of effort that you're going to put in. Once you finish creating your syllabus for a course that you teach regularly, that content will automatically roll forward so that you can use it without redoing that section for future terms. Right? So that's all I have. It's simple, right? Thank you for your time. Have a great fall, and let me know with any questions, comments, kudos of your experience when you're using Simple Syllabus. Thank you, John.
Brandy, thank you so much. Earlier today, we heard about the FSCJ experience, and I will say, educational technology, they are already living that life. We can all do better, but what a great group to collaborate with. And my thanks to all the faculty who have served to help with the design, to give feedback so that it represents something that is functional to you, and I think it'll get us to a good place. On syllabi, one other thing I'd like to mention, Dr. Mythen before talked about the general education review that went through and went to the state. You'll notice that when Brandy was talking about Simple Syllabus, one of the things is that we're now uploading them publicly, that there's a time that has, you are aware of that, you've seen those things. I will tell you, in case you hear in the ether, those processes continue to move forward at the state level in terms of the review of general education, learning outcomes, looking at syllabi to see are they there, what's in them, and those kinds of things. There's nothing urgent to tell you right now, but we will follow up on that. This is not the time to get into the nitty gritty, but I at least want to acknowledge it, that it's in the air, that you don't think, okay, well, why aren't we talking about this issue? We are on track, we are where we need to be, but you all should be aware of how this is evolving. And I'll take all the way back to Dr. Woodward said at the very beginning today in terms of the importance of academic freedom, and that is a conversation we need to continue to have at this institution, and we will. As Dr. Audrey Ante comes to the stage, there she is, looking the wrong way. For the Academy Teaching and Learning, our Faculty Academy is one of the things I am most proud of at this institution, and one of the things I want to say, the great things that you are hearing about, and there's a lot more that you're not hearing about. All of those things, study abroad, what's happening with Diplomacy Lab, began with faculty who had an idea, a desire to push forward in a way that would benefit themselves professionally, was aligned with the college, and would help students. It only works to the degree that you all bring that energy and that passion. And my commitment to you is to try to make those things work. So when you hear about these things, please don't look and say, that's great, but, or that's great, that's not. Anything you have, let's bring it forward and let's take a look. The Faculty Academy is one of the great ways that you all are empowered, and you have got a fantastic chair in Dr. Audrey Ante. Audrey.
Hi. Okay. So I have a script so that I'll stay within time, but probably I will go slightly off script. I just wanted to offer a few updates for everybody. If you're not familiar with the Academy for Teaching and Learning, we support faculty professional development. We're faculty-led, a committee of, I think 7 faculty, 8, counting me. Other way? Other way. Sorry. There's a green piece of tape with an arrow that's pointing to it, and I still push the wrong thing. No, that's the right one. That's the one I want. So one of the updates has to do with faculty travel. In previous years, well, initially we had $0, and then in previous years, maybe the last 4 or 5 years, we've had a budget of $75,000 for faculty to request use for travel to conferences, or if they wanted, to attend even virtual conferences, virtual presentations, workshops, and we were able to support each person to up to $2,000. And I am really excited to report that this year, money stuff is always fun when there's an increase instead of a decrease. So our travel budget requests have been granted, and we now have double the Academy budget for faculty travel. And in recognition of the added expenses that inflation has caused, we are able to support requests now up to $3,000. I know, that's really cool, yeah. And so no more picking and choosing, like, I don't have enough for per diem, am I gonna eat McDonald's tonight after this conference? And I just want to really kind of thank Dr. Mark Bosey in Training and Organizational Development for helping us, get the increase, and Dr. Wall for agreeing to it. I think that it's usually a maybe. Dr. Wall doesn't normally say no to me. Maybe I shouldn't say that, because it's like, well, we'll try. But maybe this is just kind of like a lesson in the power of persistence, because when he's able to say yes, he does say yes, and I'm just really grateful. It's a lot of money, you guys. So please do still submit your requests early if you know you want to travel in spring. If there's a conference that you regularly try to go to each year, you can go ahead and request the funds from us like now. So applications are available. And I ask that you do that early. We don't anticipate running out, but we want to spend all of it. And so we want you all to travel somewhere, or attend a virtual conference. So definitely use that money. And then I want to just briefly mention a new Academy initiative that we're hoping to begin this academic year that has to do with trimodal teaching. Anybody familiar? Anybody? They're all like, I don't know what that is. A couple of people are. Cheryl, raise your hand. Yeah. Some people know what it is. And so this would allow a student to register for one course and choose for this one course from week to week whether or not they would prefer to attend at a campus location, in one of the WebEx classrooms, of course, because that's where we have the technology to do this, or live online, or even participate asynchronously online. The more recognizable term, of course, is high flex. And in other institutions, they use a signifier called flexible because students don't necessarily know what high flex means. We know, most of us in education. And what this type of course would allow is more learner choice. If any of you have ever had a student taking an asynchronous online course who starts to struggle and then comes to you and says, I wish I had taken this on campus. I wish I had taken this in person. If you are teaching one of these flexible courses, now the student can. Like, they don't have to switch sections. They don't have to try to take a different section. All of it would be offered in this one section. And yes, I know it's a little bit like, for us, like a little bit of this, but we are planning to offer some training, give people the space to kind of plan out what this classes would look like. This is actually not new. I thought it was kind of new, but I was wrong. Like, other schools have been doing this. And there are a lot of benefits to students
and faculty. So instructors who want to teach on campus, any of you who are like me and prefer that, but have maybe experienced some class cancellations because we have low enrollment, potentially this is a way to still have that in-person opportunity with your students if you are also willing to give them the choice to join live online one week or another week or asynchronous online. So we're going to have a little bit more information about that. We're planning to offer compensation for training and some type of compensation for teaching this type of course in the future. And we'll share the details later, but I just also want to emphasize the way that this promotes learner choice, which can be beneficial for students who don't really know the best modality and don't always make the best choices for themselves. It also gives them an opportunity to have equivalent learning experiences regardless of what modality they're choosing to attend that week. And any of you who are familiar who have done other professional developments with us are probably familiar with the term universal design for learning. That's just sort of automatically built into this type of trimodal flexible course. And it will meet the needs of all types of learners. I mean, we see it as being really beneficial, even though it's going to be challenging. Like, seriously, like when I first started thinking about this, like wrapping my brain around this, I was like, I don't know. But for anyone who's interested, we'll be sending out emails asking you to connect with us and let us know if you want to explore this opportunity with us. And institutions that we've seen that have done this do it for a variety of courses, so it can apply to any discipline, math classes, English classes, I know, or history. So just kind of keep in mind, if that's something that you're interested in exploring, we would love to have you participate. And while there were a ton of professional development opportunities that we have for you all, like we always have lots for you to choose from, I just want to kind of highlight for this year, think about doing some of the workshops in our culturally responsive pedagogy certificate. We're offering the whole certificate twice this year, so all in the fall and then again in the spring. If you had started it and you want to finish it, this year you'll have the opportunity to do that. If you like getting some of the micro-credentials, I encourage you to look at those. We start typically with humanizing the syllabus and developing the humanized syllabus. Those are already out there in My Learning if you want to look it up, but I will be sending emails out from the Academy. And then the other certificate that I want to highlight is our Student Success Certificate. And this is one that has been supported through our Title III Bridges Grant. Some of the people, I see some people in the room who have gone through it. It is a cohort-based certificate where we encourage faculty and career employees, as well as administrative employees, to participate, and you get just a completely different perspective of what experiences are like at the college dealing with students. Some of the employees are student-facing, and some of them are not student-facing, and they still get a lot out of how they contribute to that, at the college to encouraging student success. So think about it. We send out emails about these, and that leads me to another, like, please check your email, crying emoji, because we want to make sure that you're aware of all the different types of opportunities that we're offering you, and we want you to be able to take advantage of them. And so please, the Academy email, maybe just flag it to look at it later in the afternoon, but we are happy to take any feedback that you might have. The email's up there, academy@fscj.edu, and thank you all so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ante. I'm going to tell you just a little more of the story about the $150,000 in travel money. When the Academy was stood up and we wanted to dedicate a travel funds, there was some, I'd come into the provost role, there was some money that was there that's like, oh, go to it. And then Mark was good at asking. He came back, and I'm like, well, okay, here's some more. And then ultimately, I ran out of any more. So we got a little bit more through the budgeting process, up to $75,000. Even in this environment, and I love this environment, that enrollments are up, and there's not the stress of, how are we going to do budget, et cetera. It is the reality, because we are underfunded, that anytime we choose to do something at this college, we are also choosing to not do something else. And the way this $150,000 came around had nothing to do with me saying yes. It was the Faculty Academy coming and voicing, because of what you all were doing with the funds already. And when they came, we knew that we had to go to the budget process, because I can't just make it happen You have to get a priority that's high enough that the people are going to say yes to this and no to something else. And we wanted this to be a really high priority. So we worked through that budget process where part of the request flowed up through the Faculty Academy. Part of it flowed out of the Provost's office. We wanted to cover the ground. And then the Faculty Senate also passed a resolution, so we had that word as well. And those were the things together that made the process stop and take notice and say, you know what? This truly is a priority for our faculty. So again, I want to underscore how important your collective voices, your individual voice is important, of course, as well, but how important your collective voice is for us to be able to go and do things the way we need to and want to be able to do things. So congratulations on the money. Please make great use of it. And we'll go for, I don't know, 200? Okay, 3, 4? All right, thanks, Mark. All right, I'm going to take a few minutes of your time. Thank you for advancing my slides, which I always forget. I'm going to take a few minutes of your time to maybe set a little bit of a tone and paint a vision that is forward-looking. And I'm going to talk about the idea of FSCJ as a modern college. One of the things that's going to be inherent, although I won't talk about it explicitly, is the notion of collaboration, working together. And you all know I'm a big person on collaboration, putting pieces and parts together. And today during convocation, I went off script and gave a shout out about student services being in the house. And some of you will know, but some of you will not know, that the practice has been that because we're so close to the beginning of the semester, even as the whole college comes together for convocation, advisors and people who are forward-facing with students, they don't get to come participate because they're serving those students. There's a trade-off there, of course, right? But Elliot Strickland, who is our Vice President of Student Services, consultation with his team and looking at it, said there is value in us doing that. And I am so happy that happened today because we absolutely are better to the degree that we can sew together the work that we are doing and the work that Student Services is doing. That is absolutely critical for us to be really strong in serving students. And I'll go a little bit further and say that I'm very excited that VP Strickland is here, as are members of his leadership team, as are other interested people from Student Services, because they have that same desire for us to get together. So I want to thank you all for being here. And what I want to say to us in academic affairs is we have to be open to building those bridges and working. And when it's not working, having the conversation and getting it to a place that it works. So it's that idea of all of us being together as a team. All right. As we talked about, we're beginning this year in a fantastic position. You heard this morning, right? Enrollments continue to grow. The colleges receive recognition for work across many domains, and we're continuing in our community to share our story so that people not only know FSCJ, yeah, that's a thing, they know something about what it is that we do. And most importantly, we have maintained and in some places even made ground in student learning and achievement. Many, not all, many of the metrics are getting better, and that is fantastic. That is your work, and that is absolutely wonderful. So congratulations. Somebody almost clapped, and let's clap. It's great. So as we head into this year, the fundamentals remain. You've never come to academic plenary and not heard me say these 4 points. First, I want to operate with wide fences, which is to say, there's the stuff right in front of you, but when your idea is here or here, I don't want administrators, to bottle you in and say, are there fences? Yes, there are fences, but we're going to set them as wide as possible. And I appreciate Audrey's kind words, but that's where it should be, is how much room can we give you all to do as faculty the great work that you do? How wide can me and my team set the fences so that deans can do the great work that they do? And that's what the intention is. And when we're working in those wide fences, of course, a bias for yes. I'm going to talk in a little while. We talked about the FSCJ experience. I'll be back. I have thoughts. But that bias for yes is that idea of what can we get done? To not tell people, right out of the gate. Let's explore. Even if I can't get to where you want to be, where can we get together? Thirdly, teaching with rigor and rapport. Academic rigor, we can never, ever, ever, ever short on. If we do that, the game is over. We don't have integrity. Me and a lot of you are not sleeping at night. We cannot do that. We must maintain academic rigor. And when we talk about the idea of customer service, it is not lost on me that academic rigor can come into conflict with customer service. Because I may not like the way my bed was made at the Ritz-Carlton. Is not the same as I don't like the grade that I earned in this class. So I want you to be clear that I am clear about that distinction. Nevertheless, there's going to be room for us to work on the aspects of our jobs in academics that have to do with rapport, that have to do not just with maintaining rigor, but how we interact with students, how we motivate them, how when we have to give them bad news, we give it to them, how if they are falling off, we try to bring them back on. There is tremendous opportunity there, and that is the other side of what I believe we have to do. So there is a balance we have to find there, academic rigor and building that rapport. We'll continue to talk about that. And then lastly, you all know my interest in building a vibrant academic culture. I still believe that is one of the most important things we can do because I think it's a real difference maker in the success that we and our students experience. It's an academic culture that got us into the line of work that we are in. Somewhere along the way, we saw something and we thought, that's cool, I want to go do that kind of work. It's the culture that drew us in. And because of that, I believe that a strong academic culture that is vibrant with activities and opportunities is the key to unlocking our very best work. People ain't here just for the money. We know that. There is something inside about teaching people, about seeing that develop with people that keeps us moving. And in order to be in that environment where there's a lot of stress and a lot of demand, there has to be something that feeds deeper meaning. There has to be something that feeds the soul. And to me, that's that vibrant academic culture. And you heard today, just today, about so many amazing aspects. And that doesn't even touch the other things that we're doing across all campuses and all centers. Please be a part of that. Please participate in it. It's absolutely important. So each year, Academic Plenary provides a rare opportunity to share information relevant to the year ahead, which we've just done. It's different than email. Thank you for being here, by the way, and thank you for being online. And if you're all the way in the back, you may be here and online, so thank you for that as well. And we also get reoriented to where we sit and how we are doing within the larger educational landscape. In recent years, you know this, much of our work has been operationally oriented and focused on reestablishing a solid enrollment strategy, that our depth of field has been very shallow. We're able to focus on the thing that is right in front of us, but the things that are further ahead, we don't have time to look at. We don't have time to get to. You feel that this week, don't you? It's like, I got stuff I got to do. Thank you for being here. I've got stuff I've got to do. That's different than the times when you can sit and you can think about planning ahead. But nevertheless, even in this environment, there has been incremental progress year over year. And by last year, there were clear signs that FSCJ was changing in positive ways that are reflected in the success we are having in fulfilling our mission. So this change has also given us the opportunity to expand our depth of field and see beyond what's right in front of us. And you could hear today a similar theme in Dr. Avendano's remarks. where he talked about the need that we have to look ahead. Now, this summer, I was part of a group that Dr. Abendano led to a summer institute called Looking Ahead to Empower the Future, and it's put on by the Alliance for Innovation and Transformation. That is a forward-looking group in education that tries to look at practices that non-educational entities are working with to say, is any of it translatable back to making us more effective as educators? So during our time there, our expert speakers and facilitators developed our capacity to consider possible futures for our organizations as a means of being prepared for what might be ahead, and to be in a position to grab opportunities when they appear. The point of this kind of thinking is not to predict the future. Nobody can do that. But to gather insights from a hypothetical space that includes more favorable, desirable futures and less favorable or desirable futures. The building blocks of this thinking are the things that I've put up here. They include elements of the environment that contribute to the college we experience today, along with events that might signal future directions. And so none of these are unfamiliar to you. Questions about the value of higher education, concerns about the cost, a push for improved, demonstrable outcomes for higher ed, efforts to make higher education more accessible, alternate paths to credit like prior learning, certifications that generate credit, tech-powered education, including applications of AI, governmental interventions into higher education, conversations about the purpose of higher education. These are all familiar to us. This is not comprehensive, but it is some of the big factors that we need to consider. So what I'd like to do is dip our toe for a minute into the universe of undesirable possibilities first. So here's one conceivable, not predicted, but conceivable future born out of these building blocks and maybe a sequence of events that could happen. Imagine that in an effort to contain costs, that's a goal people have about higher education, ensure the consistency and quality of classroom instruction, and there's another goal, and focus learning on measurable outcomes, and there's another goal in the environment. Statutes are passed that fully consolidate the 28 institutions of the Florida college system into a single entity under the authority of a single statewide board. Administrative overhead is reduced as state-level leadership standardizes course and program curricula and decides which programs will be offered at each site in the new statewide system. The complete standardization of the curriculum opens the door to reducing faculty ranks through increased class sizes, a strategic commitment to maximizing the use of contingent adjunct faculty, and large contracts with ed tech companies to fully implement the next generation of AI-facilitated courseware that is now empowered with pedagogical and motivational capabilities. In addition, a state-supported work-study program gradually outsources hands-on portions of workforce and technical training to large businesses that establish pre-entry positions designed to develop student skills in a manner that supports the work of the business and also receive tax incentives for participating. That's not the future that I want. I don't think that's where we're heading, but it's possible. In fact, 5 or 6 years ago, it may interest you to know, there was a legislative bill introduced to establish a state board for the Florida college system. It didn't pass. I don't know why it was put forward. But when imagining potential futures, it's worth knowing that somebody envisioned it as a way to improve the Florida college system. In the same way, though, there's a much more desirable potential future that could emerge from these factors. How might that unfold? When you look at those factors, Note how relatively well-positioned community colleges and state colleges are relative to traditional universities. For example, there are concerns about the cost of college, but community colleges are not the hot spot of that concern. In fact, the principles on which community colleges were established are inherently aligned with many of the things people want out of higher education. They do want value. They do want cost contained. They do want accessibility. We have opportunity here. And when Dr. A talked today about raising the bar, looking forward, we need to think about what that opportunity is and put ourselves in a position to seize it. Of course, the future isn't something that just happens to us. The future always arrives as a collision between what we are doing today and what it is that is happening to us. And opportunities arise by doing things that must be done today to increase the likelihood that if enough of the right things happen to us, we'll end up at a point that is one of our most desired futures. There's no guarantee. A lot of it is out of our hands, but if it breaks our way, we have to be ready and in position to take advantage of that. I think you'll agree with me, there is no doubt that higher education is changing and that institutions are transforming as a result. There is some college of the future that we will become. Let me follow on Dr. A's comments this morning again. Our present success means that we have to raise the bar moving forward. For that reason, this year in academics, we are going to have conversations about what we must do to maximize the odds that we are a college of the most desired future. Okay, a word here about nomenclature. I'm an academic. I'll say now that FSCJ, college with maximized odds of highly desirable future, doesn't really work. It doesn't roll off the tongue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adopt the word modern as a modern college. Because modern is a word that's generally associated with positive change. I understand, modernists, etc. But when we say something is modern, we tend to associate it with positive change. A modern college, then, is one that pursues work today, let me find myself, that maximizes the odds of getting to a desired future based on where we think the world is going. So today, I'm going to share with you 5 distinguishing strategies that I believe will serve our mission well today and maximize the odds that we arrived transformed to our most desired future or as close to possible as we can. Here you see the 5 characteristics of a modern college. First, a modern college understands itself as working to support the personal and professional development of our students. What kind of work do you do? I teach. What kind of work do you do? I work at the college. The work that every one of us in this room is doing is work to develop people so that they experience life more fully as individuals, better prepared to be in society, and yes, better prepared to go in the workforce. We are in the people development business. And this is where we get that break from, my job is just to teach. I get the content out there, you absorb the content, and away we go. That's not the model that's going to get us where we want to go. So that idea of personal and professional development, that we are in that business, I believe is part of the mindset we need to adopt. Second, a modern college partners relationally with students. Relationally. You all have heard the research. If a person has contacts at a college, the more people they know at the college, the more people that know their name, the more likely they are to stay and persist. And the more isolated they are, the less likely they are to find success. I believe we have to enter into a relational orientation with our students. We'll bound this a little bit. This is another place where we touch on the customer service kind of idea. The standard is the standard in the class, but I'm going to do everything I can to see that you're able to get to class, to see that you have the resources to be prepared to class, to when things are out of order, call the office that needs to be called in order to put the pieces together to make it work for you so it's less of a hassle. Because you got work to do, you're going to have to meet that standard. And once you get to class, you are going to have an instructor who is interested in who you are, asks you about your major, knows what your name is, recognizes when you're not in class and says, hey, what's going on? We all have to get oriented to the idea that we're not just teaching students, we're in relationship with them. And the quality of that relationship is going to impact how successful we are. To the degree that we decide we want to commodify education, and a lot of people do, to the degree we decide we want to commodify education, I put it out there in a way that you can absorb it and show me you understand it. Why wouldn't we be consolidated into a giant institution? We have small class sizes for a reason, And I know the work is backbreaking. I absolutely know that the work is backbreaking. But we have people among us who are really, really skilled at having that relational impact. We hear it all the time. We all need to be thinking about that. And that's the direction that I want us to go. A modern college has integrated programs and partnerships. You heard Dr. A today talk about a nursing program with Brooks Hospital, and we are very proud of this. We didn't say, hey, yeah, you're scholarshiping those students? Come on, bring them here. No. Okay, you're scholarshiping the students, but they're also working for you, and you're trying to grow your own internal workforce. We will come to you. We will come to you. We'll integrate our teaching with your work. Look at the programs that we have. A big effort right now in fintech, financial technology. It's finance, it's technology, it's a thing together. Those things have to be integrated. I don't believe we are doing enough right now to talk about how our general education courses are or are not preparing our AS students for the work that they need to undertake. We have to have that dialogue because all of this stuff fits together. If we chunk it up and just say, go down the checklist, and then at the end, you're educated, you have your degree, and get out, that's one way to do it. But that's not how we were built. That's not what we're organized for. So what I want to do is push us in that direction, have those discussions, and do more of that kind of work. A modern college embeds itself in the community and has the community embedded in it. I've heard examples already of being embedded in the community, and we go out and we represent and we're there. Having the community embedded in us, I've taught before, I'm so proud and excited about the History of Jacksonville course that we have now developed. That is a course about our community that we've taken on, and what it does is it brings the community into FSCJ. All of you that are in baccalaureate career and technical education programs, you have business and industry leadership teams. What are we trying to do there? We're saying we want to change, adapt what we are doing so that what you need is embedded in who we are. It's a two-way dialogue. We're doing it. I want us to do more of it. And lastly, a modern community college continues to exhibit the great attributions of a community or state colleges, and we still have to bear the burden of the major challenges. We know that the population that we serve has many barriers to being successful, some of which are out of our control. Please don't hear me say anything that it is your responsibility to get students to class, to get them enough sleep. But as an institution, we can't just say that's their problem. We got to think about what can we do to reduce those barriers. Some of you are teaching classes at 6:30 in the morning, 9 at night. God love you because you're now we're talking. Because you're adapting to what it is that people need. Those challenges are not going to go away. And we need to, and I think that we will, work to address what is happening with mental health in colleges right now. We've got to do something. Are we budgeted to do it directly? No. But that doesn't mean we don't need to look into it and get where we can go in that direction. So, in the year ahead, you're going to be presented with opportunities to work on pieces of this puzzle by thinking about how we can begin to excel in these areas. This work will be fully aligned with the foundation and continuation of work we have undertaken as an Achieving the Dream College. So if you think about guided pathways, we are still a guided pathways school, but we want to imbue it with more relational approach. We want to imbue it with things becoming more integrated. So we're still doing what we're doing. We're talking about changing a little bit of the way that we do those things. And of course, pursuing these characteristics will also be fully aligned with this year's work on our strategic plan. And as we heard this morning, the overarching priorities are going to be the same for our strategic priorities as a college. What needs to evolve are the strategies we use to excel in those areas. And today I am proposing to you some of those strategies that I think we need to evolve. I don't think I have them all, but I know I have a place that I want us to start. So with that, for today, all I ask of you is to begin to contemplate these ideas and think about where your interests lie in that space. In the next 8 days, you're going to have a very shallow field of depth as you look at what is right in front of you, and we all look at what's right in front of us. That is the precious students that we have the opportunity to develop this year. I sit up here today and I think about the statistics that characterized our year that show those gains. I think about the people who have come up here and shared the things that are happening and expanding. And I think about the knowledge I have about the work that so many of you are doing, and I am blown away. For the faculty, you are a fantastic faculty. You truly are. You truly are. You don't, yeah, let's. Please don't hear what I'm saying today through the ears of, oh, God, I came and got scolded at. No. Top 40 college, you don't get there without doing things right. We're doing things right. But overall, we all know that community colleges can do better. We've got the horsepower to really do better. And I want to try to unlock that. For the administrators and the support staff in this room, we have to think about those wide fences, but our number one job is to support the instructors who are in here so that they can do their thing, so that they work the curriculum and that we keep pushing. Let's make sure we've got high standards. We keep pushing. Let's make sure that pedagogy's on. We keep pushing. Hey, let's take a look at what's happening in terms of rapport with students. But we got to let the faculty do what they do. Again, administrators, I think you're doing a great job. We don't get to be a top 40 college if we were suppressing that with our faculty. But I do think we have opportunities to take that next step, and we're going to have that conversation this year. I thank you so much for your attention today. Thank you for all that you do for our students. I wish you some rest between now and Monday and a fantastic launch to the new year. Thank you very much.